8radio.com. No, that's what I'm telling you. You see, it's not illegal if no one sees you do it. Hey, everybody! It's November 13th. Save and continue. Episode 3. That didn't look nearly as cool as you were like hyping it up to be.
Well, you didn't do it.
I know I didn't do it right. It's your fault for letting me do it.
Do I have walnuts on my face?
Walnuts?
Yeah.
Do you have walnuts on your face? No.
I was eating like an entire bag of walnuts.
You got some seaweed and cinnamon or whatever the hell you eat on a regular basis.
Disgusting combination.
You eat that though, don't you?
Not together.
What? Yes, he's walked in my car with like a bowl full of seaweed and cinnamon once.
Oh
and I'm
no,
like, what's that
seaweed
smell?
and pollen.
Oh, dulse flakes. Well,
Excuse me,
different.
seaweed and pollen. That's my bad. Anyway, welcome to the health show. I'm Kyle, Frankie, that's Nolan. Welcome to Save and Continue, the show that keeps you plugged in to everything that does plug in.
Whoa!
How's that for like an intro model
Man,
thing?
that's
not
awesome.
bad, right? I was thinking about that for a while.
That's
I'm like,
good.
Plugged into everything that does plug in. You're silent. You don't agree?
I'm blown back.
We'll put that on the fire. All right, so like I said before we started, it's a little slow news-wise just because we're pulling up to the holiday season, so there's so much coming up in the
I
next
think we have a
coming
lot to
weeks.
say, though.
We do have a decent amount. I wanted to start off the show like we did last time, actually, talking about South Park again. I know either of you didn't catch it, but their last episode was actually about the Oculus Rift VR headset, which you mentioned before. They're doing a lot of tech-heavy content lately.
South Park
Not
has been
complaining.
they've been doing a lot of tech stuff, and I noticed that I think since Stick of Truth, they've just been on this binge of just video game related stuff, you know what I mean? Like, and I don't blame them. I mean,
Know your audience, man.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been funny. It's not like the episodes have been like dipping in humor. I think last night's episode was the funniest out of all the tech.
I didn't see it at all.
Well, they did drones and they did microtransactions and
Freemiums.
What was it? Freemiums, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think this is one of the funniest like tech. You should watch it. It's really funny.
I plan on it.
I like that. I like the Oculus Rift is getting the attention because I know the consumer model's coming out fairly soon, and I'm currently building my PC because I'm jumping off the console bandwagon. I can't handle it anymore. And the Oculus Rift is going to be one of the first things I get.
You've been saying that about
I really am
consoles
now.
for like 2 years now.
I was debating bringing up the parts list of my new computer, and I was like, you know what? Like, that's a bit much. I don't
Why
think-
not?
Let's kill
'Cause
half
you don't
an
know
hour.
what you're looking. I barely know what I'm looking at. Like it's
I just feel like every other week that every once in a while I see you, it's like, geez, when are you gonna get this PC? You're talking
It's
about.
expensive.
I'm gonna join the master race.
Well, because you got to spend at least like $400 to $500 to make it like worthwhile. Obviously.
No, I know,
If I'm going to spend the money
I
on
know,
a PC,
I know.
I want a console killer. I want something that's going to run like BioShock Infinite and like 1080p. I want 60 frames per second. Like I know some people are like, you can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
You can. You can absolutely tell the difference. That's like 4K and Blu-ray and all that stuff.
What was the new South Park episode about, really? Like,
It was-
what did they do?
The beginning is basically Cartman tricks Butter into thinking that he's using an Oculus Rift headset and he's actually in reality. So he's walking around and you hear him like on the walkie-talkie and he's like, I'm in the cafeteria, I just touched Wendy's boob. And like, it's just Eric like, that's great, Butters. Like, I can't believe he's this stupid. And then later in the episode, it turns out that he gets a call and he's actually wearing the Oculus Rift and he's like, what? What's reality anymore?
Oh
and the
my
whole
God.
That's
episode is
trippy.
basically Inception.
Oh, that's incredible.
It's a really good
That's
episode. Because at the end of it, you're like, because South Park's super funny, but they're actually really good storytellers. So I knew there was going to be like a good ending where they're actually like kind of blow your mind a little bit.
And I feel like South Park with the leading roles of Cartman and Butters together always works really well.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like those episodes
great
are really
combo.
good. Yeah.
Seriously, great combo. And then Bill Hader was in it a bunch, voice acting.
Oh, really?
Which is, I'm happy anytime Bill Hader's
Yeah.
in anything. But yeah,
Well,
really good
he's-
episode.
He's like written for them a bunch, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So-
If
Yeah,
you
he's
watched
worked with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, the documentary.
I forget what it's called, like 8 Days to Air or 6
something
Days
like
to Air,
that.
something like that,
Something
which is
like
a
that.
great. I'm so pissed it's off Netflix. Yeah, he's like a writer for it and voice acted, and I guess now that he's off SNL, he's kind of hopping back onto it. But really cool episode. I like the tech
what was he commercials for?
The what?
Bill Hader's?
Yeah, like he jumped off of SNL
Oh,
and
the
went
cell
right into
phone
like a
commercials?
T-Mobile
Yeah.
commercial.
Get on
Not
that
paying the
T-Mobile
bills.
money. Yeah. He's
Oh,
like,
yeah, for the roast.
that's like every SNL person now goes to a cell phone commercial. One of them is doing Singular, not Singular. Oh my god. I'm
Nolan, I
so
think you'd be
bad.
great on Boost Mobile.
You would
Remember that?
a Boost Mobile commercial.
Do it.
Yo, pay as you go. Pay as you go.
Boost Mobile, where you at? I just spit everywhere.
Boost. Where you at? Tell me. 'Cause my service is awful.
You know what's funny? In 5 years, I'm going to do a Boost Mobile commercial, and we're going to look back at this clip and be like, he always had the skill for it.
He did. We
was
we
ready.
called it. Frankie called it. Boost Mobile commercial. But yeah, I thought that was super funny because South Park's been doing great lately, and I love everything they do. I wanted to bring up today, but you had work. Next week I want to do like a feature on your Minecraft world. Pretty
Definitely.
much.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
he showed me it the other day, and it's like you don't even have to play Minecraft to. I wouldn't use the word appreciate, just because it's a lot of work you put in. But
I don't think
to
appreciate's the right
marvel
word.
at what he's, we'll show the good overall shot. He's built a stadium, like several different parts of cities, like.
Well,
Like, what did you specifically? I looked at it and was like, I don't even know what I'm looking at.
Well, I guess we'll get into it a little more next week, but yeah, I am building quite a city. But
Dude,
a lot
it's
of it's
epic.
been
It's got like a
like
stadium
downloaded
and stuff, right? Like a full-on, like
yeah,
yeah.
Shea Stadium.
Like, oh my god. But
It's like Manhattan, Brooklyn, Rikers Island,
yeah,
Queens,
I always love
building Long Island.
I love the interpretations of real life things in Minecraft. It's
Oh,
always
it's awesome.
Oh,
I thought
yeah.
it was just so cool.
Some of the
because-
coolest Minecraft stuff I see is like, here's a tutorial on how to build a house that's not ridiculous. It actually looks like a modern day architectural.
do you remember
It comes
Middle
down
Earth?
to your like resource packet,
Yeah.
resource packs, and all
That's
your
what's so
shaders
great about
and
the
stuff.
game. That's actually a good part to bring it up because I wanted to bring up they announced Minecraft 2, which is pretty crazy.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding. I was hoping Nolan would freak out a little
Well,
bit.
no, I mean,
I
like,
appreciate it.
everybody
Rolled his eyes.
said,
No, I was like, wow.
Once Minecraft was bought by Microsoft, everybody was like, oh, Minecraft 2.
Yeah, but can you
Like,
really
as
have a Minecraft 2?
No.
Yeah.
No, it's just
right?
patch updates. and stuff.
Exactly. Like you can't.
That's why it was a big joke, because it was like, oh, Microsoft is going to make everybody repay for Minecraft
Yeah,
2.
that would be the
because
point.
they're
I
money
mean,
whores.
that would been, yeah, you're right. That'd been ridiculous because
Yeah.
it's like, again, what would you upgrade? Like it looks better. Like they have skin packs and everything already, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, we'll talk about Minecraft next week. I was definitely wanting to get into that. Well, yeah, it's finally something for you to talk about.
Your time to shine, Nolan.
First my Boost Mobile commercial, now Minecraft. Oh, man.
Slow down a bit.
Right? He's got a lot of opportunities coming through the door right now for you. I want to ask a couple questions actually, because we didn't do this the first episode, and that was something I actually really wanted to do. Was just basically, I don't have the list, but I have it off the top of my head. Questions, basically to get your preference of it. A little more specific, but for instance, like we'll start off like, what is your favorite game? Basically, would be like the start of it. Like, what video game would you? Obviously.
Minecraft or FIFA?
There you go. Oh yeah, you love FIFA. Yeah, you
Yeah.
love FIFA. So you'd say Minecraft or FIFA. I'm partial to like Mass Effect 2. Like I've been saying that for years because like the prologue and the epilogue are nuts.
Good
but
story.
like what do you, for, like if you had anyone, because the other day I said Ocarina of Time was fantastic and someone said no, Majora's Mask was actually the best one ever.
Wasn't that here?
That was me.
Was that you?
Yeah.
Oh, I knew I didn't like that kid for a reason. Anyway, what did you think? Is there one in particular that, because you love Resident Evil, I know that much.
Yeah, but you also love Halo.
I really see. When you say game, do you mean series or a specific game? A single.
If you're
No,
gonna
it's
sit
a
down
fair
and play
question.
something, what are you gonna play?
What video game have you played the most out of every video game in your
Jeez,
entire
I
life?
really I can't say because so many hours of my life were sunk into gaming.
What hit
Ever
you?
since I was.
Like when I say video game, what game comes first in your mind?
If you want to get deep, well, I'll start. You know, in the bigger picture, I'd say the series that I loved the most was Halo, Resident Evil series. I remember playing a lot of Rainbow Six growing up.
Ooh, I forgot about Rainbow Six.
Okay.
Yeah, Rainbow Six before Vegas and stuff like that. It was when it was
Yeah.
more tactical and it was just better.
Yeah, like Lockout or Rainbow Six Lockdown.
Oh
What was it?
God, dude.
You didn't like? Oh, you know, we had this
Lockdown was
conversation.
terrible, man.
Yeah, that's like the worst one in the series. Apparently.
Oh my God, I don't think I've ever been so let down by a game before. That was my first letdown. That was my first broken heart from a video game. Was
I
Lockdown.
kind of liked it. I don't know.
No,
That was
impossible.
good.
You didn't. Nobody liked lockdown.
Impossible.
Nobody liked lockdown.
Your opinion is wrong.
No, it was disgusting.
You're wrong, and you should feel bad.
It was a broken game. It was a broken game. But anyway, I love the
why I was
Mass
good
Effect
at it.
series. The Mass Effect series. What? I didn't even say that.
Maybe that's why I was
Maybe
good
that's
at it, because it was broken.
Oh, yeah, probably. The Mass Effect series, the Final Fantasy series. I was big into Final Fantasy 9 and 7.
See, I just didn't have 12 years to pump away to Final Fantasy.
That's
I can respect Final Fantasy, but it's something that like I look at and it's like I don't know where I would start. I don't know where I would end. Like I just don't want any part of it.
I feel so out of place when people bring up Final Fantasy, because anytime someone says like, oh yeah, I played Final Fantasy, immediately one other person will go, oh, I love 9, or they immediately jump to one of the numbers, and that's where you completely lose me with Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Because they're like, 7's the best, and it's like, no, 9 was great. Then
7 was my
Lightning
first Final
Returns
Fantasy,
was-
but I gotta say that 9 stuck out for me. I loved the kind of the old school style with the new school graphics at the time, at least. And the character design, the colors, art direction was incredible.
What
The music.
like year range was 2000? Was 9.
What do you
Final
mean?
Fantasy
When did that
9.
come
Like
out?
when around did it come
I
out?
think it was 1999.
Okay.
But I didn't play it right away. I didn't play the year it came out because I got more as I got older. There was some more like the Resident Evil series, for example. I didn't get until Resident Evil 4 was already released. Played Resident Evil 4 on GameCube. I was blown away by it. And actually, I got Resident Evil 1 remake years before that. I think 2 years before Resident Evil 4 came out, and I couldn't play it because of how afraid I was as a kid. I think I played the first 10 minutes, and I just didn't pick it up for another 2 years. But the Resident Evil series, and I got to say, well, while we're talking about Final Fantasy, Lost Odyssey is a game that sticks out to me. Usually, I just mention series when
you brought that up before, Lost Odyssey.
Yeah, when I mention
never played it.
when I mention favorite video game series, it's usually I can't really pick one out of a series. Like with Halo, it's probably ODST and Halo 1 and Halo 2. And yeah, I love ODST. Everything, the music, the gameplay, everything.
Nathan Fillion.
But Lost Odyssey stands out to me as a standalone title because it's the Final Fantasy game which I feel like we didn't get for years until the creators of Final Fantasy broke off.
That was a Final Fantasy game?
It was the creators of Final Fantasy,
Oh.
and it was also the composer that did the music for all the Final Fantasy games before that. So it was basically a Final Fantasy game, but it was it didn't have the title of Final Fantasy, but
Yeah.
it had the
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
of it. And I don't think I've ever been so emotionally invested in a game as much as it was Lost Odyssey, because the writing, the short stories in that game, it was like stories within the story, were incredible. And because the main character is an immortal who's lived for 1,000 years, and you get to
Yeah, I
hear,
briefly heard this
you get
story,
to,
but I
he
never
does
played
he
it.
doesn't die, so he has seen so many paths of life and so many different kinds of people, and I recommend that game to anybody who's just itching for a Japanese RPG that's more modern, because it's really hard to find a good one nowadays. So I think that's a great one to do.
Yeah, it is tricky to get a good
Yeah.
JRPG nowadays. I was just thinking that because I've been trying to get into them because I do like the RPG. I just don't like turn-based.
So Xenoblade is something I've been wanting to play.
Yeah, I don't get great
Xenoblade,
things
like
about
I
that,
don't use my Wii anymore. So it's
Yeah, right. My God, well,
Who
that's-
does?
I still play Wii Sports, and we played Mario Party the other day.
Oh,
like
that's true.
That's why I'm excited about the new Smash game,
Smash.
just purely because of the board game. But we're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we got
Quick
lots
break.
more to talk about. So you stay with us, sexy.
Toodaloo.
world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, InRavio can get your message out there, and we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is InRavio.com.
Hey, this is Chris and Les Jake, and if InRavio.com spots you at an event wearing this bracelet, they will give you $100.
InRavio.com.
I'm serious.
Couldn't wait the 3 seconds before he came back to air and make you laugh.
No.
But Sharpie.
I want to see it.
Hey, welcome back. Save and continue. We are here again. We're talking everything that plugs in. I said it way worse that time.
Yeah, that was-
sounded way better the first time.
You did not nail it.
Chill, man. Yeah. Let me just drink my. I actually wrote down Frappe Latte on it. Yeah.
Frappe latte?
Frappe Latte. It's my favorite coffee brand that is legal. So let's talk about that. Sounded gross on the mic.
Generic coffee is
Yeah.
my favorite.
I love this. It's a slam dunk.
So we were talking about.
We were talking about. What were we talking about? I don't know.
Viva Pinata.
Viva Pinata. You were talking about Viva Pinata over the break because we were
Nolan.
we were discussing what game has affected Nolan the most.
What pulled our heartstrings?
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, dude.
I cried when I played Viva.
Okay, yeah. That's the reality we're in.
Well, you could lose your pinatas, can't you?
Yeah,
like
I
Pikmin.
mean,
Yeah.
Pikmin made me cry because it was just like
What,
the part of the
really?
game was losing them. Like that's part of the game, and that hurt every damn time, man.
life, dog.
That's what it was. It was a terrible representation of life. Just like
So what did you like about Viva Pinata? Exactly.
I mean, it wasn't a
The
game.
colors.
It wasn't a game that I got like super invested in, but it was fun to play. I'm not gonna lie.
you were super invested in it. What are you talking about?
Was there like one particular pinata you got really attached to and you lost it?
Yeah.
And it crushed your heart
One
so
pinata
badly
breed.
that you just didn't want to go back to the game.
Oh God! Don't bring this up.
Dude, your
Little
eyes-
chestnut?
Your eyes are getting watery.
Yeah. Right? Well, there was
there
this.
was one.
There was this.
He was my
donkey
best
shit.
friend. Okay. No, it was really just more like I wanted to catch certain pinatas. Like there was like I forget what it was. I think it was like an elephant pinata that was super hard to get, and it like showed up on my land like
Sounds
once,
like it'd
and
be
I was
hard to get.
Yeah.
and it slipped
It's
away.
a big pinata. It's an elephant, you know.
Tons of candy.
Tons of candy. Yeah.
So outside of Viva Pinata, FIFA, and Minecraft, was there any other kind of game that you played over the years? 'Cause this is news to me. I never really talked about your favorite.
Yeah,
video
we
games.
don't really talk about your video games.
Besides like 64 games and stuff, it was just like a gap of sport games and
Ew,
the occasional
Madden.
first-person shooter. So
Oh, goodness.
I guess like as far as 64 goes, I was big into Diddy Kong. I was big into Donkey Kong
When are they gonna make
64.
a Diddy Kong sequel for Wii U?
What, Diddy
That
Kong
would be
Racing?
awesome.
That would make some money.
See, I've
Yeah.
always
no
preferred
reason.
Diddy Kong over
No
Mario
reason.
Kart.
There's no reason. If you guys have, if you've
Why would they
seen,
make a new Mario Kart?
Because Mario Kart basically does everything that Diddy Kong Racing
It's
did.
an institution at this point, but I've always
Right.
liked Diddy Kong more than
That's what I
Mario
mean.
Kart.
I could use a fresh, refurbished version of Diddy
Well,
Kong.
hold on.
HD
The
Diddy Kong
planes,
Racing.
dog.
Yeah,
If you look back,
And the hovercraft, yeah.
at the time, I could see why Diddy Kong, was more fun for some people. But
It's just
now,
sillier.
like Mario Kart is everything that
Yeah.
Diddy Kong Racing has.
It's
You know what I
just
mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's the experience, like getting to fly in that free roam area and kind of choose what track you wanted to do.
But
You
yeah,
could
that
just
was
fly your
cool.
Plane,
That was
like,
really cool, the hub world. But it's all nostalgia, probably.
something about that.
Yeah, but it was a
Yeah.
cool game. Not putting it down.
Let's talk about a game that just came out and isn't looking so good, even though, and it sucks because I like this series a lot. Assassin's
Yeah.
Creed Unity just came out, and I'm a huge fan of the Assassin's Creed series. I'm one of the few that actually liked
I was
the
kind of
original, which people hate.
Oh, I like the original.
Oh,
I
the
was
original
hyped over
sucks.
this.
Yeah, you see, either you hate it or you love it. Everyone's
Oh.
got their argument for it. You
yeah.
can't just preference at that point. The story was good enough. For me.
I absolutely loved Brotherhood. I loved Assassin's Creed
Yeah,
2
Brotherhood was
Brotherhood.
great.
I thought that was great.
2
That
was
was the most fun I
amazing.
had with the series. But after that, I tried to get into 3. Couldn't get into 3. Couldn't. And it piqued my interest when they brought the pirate game.
Black
It was 4, right? Assassin's
Yes.
Creed 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to play it, but I just never got around to it.
That
'cause
apparently
it-
was one of the best ones in the
I
series.
heard,
Yeah.
and it really set the standard for the I think the naval battles in Assassin's Creed.
It was like
was
live
great.
creatures and everything. That was the biggest thing. Like you can like hunt whales and.
Oh, it was so cool.
Yeah, man.
And was it
that's
co-op?
like awesome.
Was the game co-op?
No.
No, because that's what Unity. That was like
No, that's the
Unity's
big
claim
thing.
to fame. It was like the first time they were going to do co-op, and it.
So what's going on with Unity right now?
Unity's got a lot of problems. All right, first off, from talking from the PC Master Race part of me, the frame rate is bad. It's not next gen. It's just not. Like this could easily pass as a high-end Xbox 360 PS3 game.
Why?
That's the step one. It just doesn't look that good. They promised great frame rate and everything coming out of it right now. I don't quote me on this, but I believe the frame rate coming right now is like 45 or like 30 FPS right now for the next gen consoles, at least on Xbox One. And on top of that, the frame rate sucks. The rendering distance sucks. I've seen multiple videos where it's a next gen console,
Yeah.
and they promised thousands of people on screen at once, like NPCs moving around and stuff. And I've seen multiple videos of people walking by and people just popping up, like the render distance couldn't be more than 100 feet in the game.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't expect that out of a next gen title.
So- let me get
those
this
are
straight.
like minor flaws. Like it has
Those are the
fundamental
flaws that
problems
should be
right now.
fixed because the new generation. Like, when everyone's like, "Oh, I don't get the difference with the new generation of consoles." Is at the beginning of those games, they aren't going to look particularly mind-blowingly better. It's going to be those little fixes that you might not notice unless you're dedicated, which is frame rate, render distance. When you see a wall and it like goes from blurry to actually specific details, like in front of you, that render rate and
Yeah.
stuff. That's what these new consoles should be doing. Like that's what's disappointing about it to me.
Have you played Assassin's Creed Unity? Personally?
I have not played Assassin's Creed Unity. That's why I won't mock the gameplay or story or anything,
Well,
because I know
gonna
nothing
say,
about that.
So you're saying from a technical standpoint?
This
it's
is
not
all
going
technical
well.
standpoint. Apparently, there's very bad glitches.
Yeah, it's riddled with glitches.
Well, first off, I wanted to pull this picture because this is one of the best video game reviews I ever heard. If we can get this full screen bond, it'd be fantastic. This is an Amazon.com review for someone who bought Assassin's Creed Unity. And I can't read that, but
Okay, great.
but basically in it, he's like, he just knocks the game for being this terrible, like, freemium assassin. You're a beta assassin for $60. It's incredibly comical.
Wait, freemium Assassin's Creed? What?
But the problem with this Assassin's Creed game is a lot of this is like you're paying. Apparently, it's got a very bad like DLC or like microtransaction system. There's a picture that came up. I saw it and it was like of how GameStop does that. Pre-order Assassin's Creed and you'll unlock the like item. Walmart's doing that. GameStop is doing that, and there's like 4 other establishments that are promoting, giving you this exclusive equipment for pre-orders.
So what you're saying, there's a lot of microtransactions going on.
Tons of microtransactions. Yeah.
Okay.
all kinds
So
of
how
co-op.
vital is it to the story?
I don't think it's very vital to the story, but
Okay.
it's a trend that I keep noticing, and we've had this conversation a million times as
Yeah.
far as
I think it's mostly
microtransactions.
because it's like supposed to be big into multiplayer. So if you have like all the pre-release, I don't know what it was, like a pre-release cloak or something, or
Yeah,
like
but then how
everybody
would
would
that-
notice that
Yeah.
when you go live.
But how would that affect it? You know
I mean,
It
what I'm
why-
saying?
wouldn't, but it would be like, oh, he's been here for forever.
If the microtransaction thing, if it doesn't take away too much from the main game, if it's just some little subtle doodads that
Yeah.
you just add on, I really don't care too much.
I think
mean,
it's just showing like, oh, like I was one of the first people to play the game.
Yeah, but then there's some instances. Well, for example, with Mass Effect 3, I remember getting that game, and there was a huge mission, part of the story that involved a character that actually had a huge impact on the narrative. And I got it right out of the box because I got the limited edition because I was a huge fan. But I thought about it, I'm like, wow, it's incredible that they actually left this out for some people. You know, like that I feel is wrong. But you know, if it's just a few micro transactions, you know, all the games are doing it. If it's nothing significant, I really don't give a crap.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
But-
I don't know if it's like souped up gear either.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's like you're gonna be super dominant.
And what I actually heard too, a game that did not do microtransactions and kind of did more of the classic unlock everything within the game style that a lot of us grew up with, which it should be, I think, was Bayonetta 2. I heard Bayonetta 2 didn't do any of that. So a lot of the
Yeah, I
unlockables in Bayonetta 2,
that
you
just
get on
proves you can
disc,
do it.
you just need to get it. Yes, that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
You know, because it kind of, in a weird way, takes me out of the game's immersion.
Yeah, no, it's not a weird thing.
You
It's
gotta earn
that's
it.
totally
Yeah,
understandable.
It just it feels like it's not even a part of the game if I'm buying it separately.
It's
You
like
know
what everyone
I mean?
says about BioShock Infinite. They said like, hey, we're gonna make this great game and dedicate all our time making this fantastic game. They released said game, and then afterwards they're like, okay, now we're going to start working on the DLC because we spent all that time working. It's because a lot of companies now they have DLC already made before they even release the game, and it's like I feel like I'm paying $60.
Sorry. Sorry.
Was that real and you just said like I'm gonna roll with it here?
Was what real? Was what real?
Sneeze.
Did I say something when I
It's
sneezed?
it sounded like well, Capcom again. Easy on the mic.
Sorry.
You're not wrong, man. But we joke, but that's a serious problem. People, you're paying $60 for like 80% of a game that they're
Yeah.
going to give you the other 20% for. They're holding it hostage, pretty much. Let me read you the review because I have it right now. Here's the title: Become a $60 beta assassin. Assassin's Creed Unity is truly next gen. In fact, it is so next gen that it isn't even finished yet. I'd like to be on the cutting edge, and I appreciate that Ubisoft is making games that it's still making even weeks after you've beaten them. I also love the forced integration with an app as well as the website. This is where I get to the microtransactions. How that works is that you sign in with your Uplay account to experience so many error messages that last gen could never display on your screen at one time. The game itself, no spoilers, centers around Arno. What a lazy adaptation of the name. Altair, an assassin in search of locked chests that require a cell phone game with microtransactions to open. You level him up by, quote, hacking into your bank account to drain real money at 60 frames per second.
Arno?
Arno, yeah.
That's his name?
That's his. I hope that's not a joke, because that's hysterical. The rest of the game runs at a solid 12
Arnie.
FPS, which is
Arnie the
twice,
assassin.
which is twice as
Hi, I'm
cinematic.
Arnie.
As, yeah,
I'm
right?
an assassin.
I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, it's just a funny name.
Who took you out? A guy named Arno.
I'm sorry for the Arnos out there. It could be cool, I guess.
I know, I think it'd be fun. I don't think that we're gonna have to worry about the demographic. The rest of the game runs at a solid 12 FPS, which is twice as cinematic as a movie. No small feat. Once you've completed playing a website on your computer, Arno is finally ready to fall through the ground and enter the white abyss, the core challenge of the game. These moments where you simply fall into the sky that accurately existed under 1700s Paris are some of the most nail-biting moments in any game ever made. Will the game crash? Will you have to hard reset your console? Results are random, so it's
my
always a surprise.
Oh, the sarcasm is so
It's
juicy
palpable.
and delicious.
Many
Love
people,
it.
this is my favorite part. Many people just won't get this evolution of Assassin's Creed and should spend their time opening up a history book instead. It is there they could read up on Paris's floating people and long battle with Poppin. Even today, many Parisians only exist after you've already walked past them. Render rate.
Yo,
It's these small details that Ubisoft has nailed, and they deserve applause with tons of random audio pops, just as you'd hear in the game's cinematic.
there's something I want to say about Assassin's Creed.
Oh, man.
There's something I want to say now. First off, this is just from one person's.
This is just
experience,
one person.
but you've heard this before. From other-
This has been making
been
the
going
rounds.
around. Okay,
yes.
I got to say this, and then we'll move on from Assassin's Creed.
Okay, yeah, we'll go to
I
commercial
honestly
after this.
think that the series had so much going for it.
Oh, absolutely.
It had so much going for it around Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, and I really didn't play much further beyond that. But
Huge fan
the
base.
story I thought was pretty engrossing. You know, it was a really cool concept.
Yeah.
You know, it had like the kind of a
Animus,
whole conspiracy, animus, going back into history, Illuminati thing. But with the whole idea of assassins versus Templar, it was cool. It was really cool. And I liked the little strange cryptic videos that they had.
That they
hidden.
They had
Grew
great
on
Easter
you at
eggs,
the
or
end,
collectibles, the
Right.
feathers and the chests.
Yes,
and,
and they just made like something really big to come over the horizon of the story, and then
Yeah.
they just dropped off. They completely just dropped the narrative, and they just made it. All right, listen, we're just gonna make a game where you could choose to just not do anything with the story. You know, we're just gonna kind of, because it's basically like they wrote themselves into a problem, and they just didn't know how to get them out. You know what I mean?
I mean, people
Yeah, a
hate
little
on
bit.
Assassin's Creed 3. Even they didn't like that one, the American Revolution one. But though the gameplay wasn't there, and I didn't think it was particularly fun, it was a great story.
Yeah, I
Like,
can't
it really
comment
was
about
great.
that 'cause I
The
didn't play it.
DLC had evil George Washington. Like, it was super creative.
tyranny
It
of
was
George
really
Washington, I
fun.
remember
It was
that, yeah.
really. I agree with you 100%. Assassin's Creed was one of those games where I was like, damn, they put out a game every year, and the game is always solid. Because everyone does that now, like Assassin's Creed and Call of Duty. And
It fell into the Call of Duty.
It did. That's
Yeah,
what
and
it's
it's
a
a
shame.
shame.
Just a little
It's
forced.
It's a shame.
It's a
That's
shame.
what it is.
It's a shame.
I mean, for God's sake, can you pull the other picture up on full screen of like, look at this is one of the major glitches that's making the rounds, like, and it's just it's terrifying. And that's one of like many pictures. Like that happens to
Yeah.
multiple characters throughout the game, apparently.
It's the coconut from my nightmares.
It does look like a coconut.
It's absolutely a coconut.
That's scary as hell. But I mean, again, like you
Imagine
said,
waking up to that. Just
it's
over,
a shame
over your bed.
right? It's a shame because the game, like, if that's gonna, and then
It's goofy time.
it really, we joke, but it's sad because
All right.
I do love Assassin's Creed.
What,
But,
what else you got?
We got tons of stuff to talk
What else
about,
you
but
got?
we should, you know what we should do first though?
What?
Be really exciting? Taking a quick commercial break. That would be great. So let's do that, and then we'll be right back with some more information on stuff.
Am I looking for a camera?
Transmission of lice occurs from being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Like catching a cold or the flu.
You have guaranteed peace of mind in every bottle of Got Lice because all of our products are completely natural,
And organic.
but strong enough to cover all your lice removal needs while being safe and effective. Our professional technicians are specially trained with our exclusive proven technique to successfully comb out head lice. We come right to your home at your convenience.
Whenever you want us.
We bring everything needed to perform a successful and complete comb out while eliminating your head lice, and we leave you with our exclusive complimentary products to use for the next 10 days following our treatment.
For free.
Our technicians also check all family members who have been exposed to lice. Please visit us on our website today at gotlice.co or feel free to call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 646-257-0121.
InRavio.com wants you. InRavio provides the best in TV, film, post-production, and so much more. And we're growing. Right now, we're looking for a team of pros that can join us. So what are you waiting for? We need show hosts, production crew, marketing gurus, sales experts, audio engineers, lighting, visual effects, and camera crews. We want you. Go to InRavio.com/join the team. For over 60 years, Hanson Carpet has put the customer first, providing only the finest quality products and service. And Hanson Carpet is so much more than just carpet. We also carry a wide selection of window blinds and shades, and our licensed and insured technicians can service any of your flooring or window covering needs. Browse our huge selection of laminate, carpet, linoleum, vinyl, and tile. Stop by our showroom today or visit hansoncarpet.com. No matter what your project, Hanson Carpet has got you covered.
Hey, we're back. We're back. All right. Stuff to talk about. Okay. This is good because I wanted to get into this with you. You'll have plenty to say about this.
Oh my God.
I have read a couple articles lately. I've been noticing a trend, because I notice stuff because I'm very observant, that the video game industry seems to be at least re-embracing the survival horror genre in a way that I think is even better than, because I think you could agree it's kind of dipped a little bit. When I say survival horror, I mean scary games where maybe shooting a gun isn't exactly the priority or
dipped.
staying alive.
Kind of.
Maybe even if not even popularity didn't dip, the quality dipped.
It got to the point where you couldn't even call it survival horror.
That's what I mean. They muddled the line between action and survival horror, and I feel like nowadays
They slandered the name. They slandered the
They did.
genre,
They
everything
called-
that it represented. Look, this is the whole thing with survival horror.
Here we go.
Survival
Lay it
horror
on 'em.
was such a great genre because it knew how to reserve itself.
So much education. I'm learning.
It knew how to hold back and give the player the space to kind of build some tension.
Oh, word.
And it was absolutely destroyed over the years, just because I guess times has changed.
Here's my
and
theory.
also what?
He's got a theory.
I got a theory.
He's got a
Because
theory.
it's also the same thing as horror movies. And I think
Yes.
graphics, like old days and CGI, it was like, okay, we didn't know any better, so it was like, oh, that's scary. And then it was, and then it was
That's
like,
terrifying.
we were like, okay, there's actually good graphics coming out, and horror just didn't bring the heat really. And now we're getting graphics where it's basically real life again.
But we
and it's
can't-
like, whoa.
You can't
Now
put
I'm
the
scared.
You can't put the blame on graphics though, because like
No, I know, but I think it carries more than realized.
all right, look, have you played what horror games have you played? And I mean like true survival horror games that have come out over the last since games have existed.
Yeah, I mean,
You know what I
that's,
mean? Because they emerged in the 90s. I know there was some games that came out before that even.
Well, let's not hate on it. This muddled genre can be done correctly. I mean, look at BioShock.
It's because the
BioShock,
genre.
I would absolutely call that a survival horror.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I don't know. If you played it on hard,
You
where
were
you
so-
had where you had to conserve weaponry and ammo, that was definitely, because I didn't use a gun a bunch of rarely in BioShock did I use a gun, because I played it on such a high difficulty.
BioShock could have been a survival horror game, but it just did not have the challenge there. I feel like BioShock was a very easy game. It held your hand way too much. I know on the PS3 version they added a mode that kind of made it a bit harder, that you went back to a checkpoint and it didn't really.
Oh, harder. It was very, because again,
Look,
then it
this
came
is-
down to ammo management. I feel like that's a core
me-
principle in many very
Right.
popular survival horror
But
games.
not only that, it's also the scare factor too. I think just like
it was
just
gritty, it
scary.
wasn't horror.
I don't know. There was some scary parts of BioShock. man.
Scary parts,
Did you
but-
beat it? Did you play the whole game?
No,
It was scary.
Well,
I didn't beat it.
The
but-
part when the dentist is behind you, that was scary.
That's like one of the first parts
Or
of
the
the
surgeon,
game. It gets
whatever it was,
scarier.
that was scary.
Once
No,
you
look,
get to the theatrical,
But let's get off of BioShock
he starts
for a
making
second.
art pieces out of
Survival horror. Survival horror is trying to make a reemergence in this day and age because people remember how good survival horror was. I'm sure developers do, even though a lot of them probably make games and they make these games that completely give the feeling that they forgot what the hell survival horror is. But the fans really know. The fans, if they want to play survival horror, they'll go back to Resident Evil 1. They'll go back to Silent Hill. They'll go back to Clock Tower. They'll go back to those games, and then we have these kind of bastardized version of survival horror that are trying. I'm not really dissing the developers of games such as like Dead Space. Because Dead Space, I thought
great game.
Dead Space was a valiant effort for survival horror, but ultimately it was just Resident Evil 4 with more action. And this is the thing, Resident Evil 4 is probably the most survival horror action game there actually is. With that said, I know that Evil Within just came out.
Yes.
And I haven't played it,
Yes.
but I'm hearing that it
I'm
does
talking
survival
like that,
horror
sorry.
kind of well.
Yes.
I'm hearing it has its issues, but
Good.
if survival horror has to come back, they need to really get down to simplicity. Survival horror was about simplicity. And it was about the psychological tension too. It's not psychological anymore. It's just closet scare. Alien's gonna jump at you. That's all it is.
Amnesia. Did you play Amnesia? Amnesia's, that's the first thing I
Okay.
want to bring up with this,
The
because
Dark
now
Descent,
I
right?
feel, when you say simplicity, I could not agree more, and I feel like they're
Right,
doing
actually,
that.
it's a great
They're
example.
doing that in the sense of no combat, pretty much. You play a game like Amnesia, you don't have a weapon. You're not fighting anything. You're running the whole time. Like you get a lantern, I think, is like your form of combat, and you hide.
And it is very simple.
A bunch of games are doing that now, and I like that. Like I said, I got to play a ton of I guess you'd call them current gen now because they're out, but of Xbox One games and stuff and PS4 games yesterday, and I got to play Alien Isolation, which I also got to play at New York Comic Con a tiny bit. But this time I played it in a house with the lights off. And like it was terrifying because you fight the alien and then you fight actual humans that are just trying to survive on the ship with you, and you don't get a weapon to really fight the alien. What best you get is like a crafting system that helps you distract the alien, like throwing bottles and stuff across the room, or and that scares. The fact that you can't fight back scares the hell out of me, and that's survival horror to me.
I mean,
no defense.
I see what you're talking about.
That is simplicity at its finest to me.
I
It's
see
like
what you're
just
talking
getting
about.
rid of weapons.
See, that's what I disagree with. Survival horror isn't hide and seek, okay? Because if you take away weapons, you're not necessarily not making a game survival horror, but survival horror at least allows you to survive. It just gives you certain means of doing so, and usually limited resources. And I think survival horror is the game, not leaving you completely defenseless, but defenseless enough that you need to think about what you're using, when you use it, and how often you would need something. You know what I mean? So it's survival horror is great for that reason, is that you could survive. You know what I mean? You're not just hiding. So I like the horror games that are coming out. Amnesia's cool. You know, I'm sure Alien Isolation's great, but they're not survival horror to me. Survival horror is Resident Evil 1 remake.
Okay.
It's Silent Hill. It's those are the
Amnesia
games.
is a survival horror game. 125%.
No, I think it's.
What would you call it? What would you
I call it just a horror game.
No, it's survival
I don't call it survival horror
because you have to survive. That's the point.
Yeah, but you can't. It's not the same. Like you can't fight back.
You don't need to fight back in order to call it survival horror. I think surviving. What would you call someone that survived a killer? You call them a survivor. Half the time in those scary. Why are like Scary Movie by the Cabin movies so scary? It's because there's a bunch of teenagers who can't fight back.
But
it's this giant monster.
It doesn't make it survival horror.
That's them surviving, and it's scary. Survival horror.
But then that's taking the name too literally.
Yeah.
That if you're taking the name,
why can't it be literally?
Because it's not. Because survival horror.
But you couldn't put that under the umbrella of survival horror, though.
No, I don't think so.
I don't understand why you
put it
wouldn't.
under an umbrella of
horror,
but not survival.
But not survival
horror
horror
sounds like a subsection of.
But what would you? So you have to have some kind of combat system in order to consider it survival horror?
I think so. Yeah, it just can't be a combat system that makes it so OP and so like action oriented that it completely throws off the scare factor. Because listen, the whole reason I loved survival horror games growing up, and I still do now, even though I don't really play them as much anymore, because there hasn't been really many survival horrors I haven't played. You know, I loved them because it gave me that feeling of tension, that there's always a chance that something could go wrong, and that I need to manage things. You know what I mean? Like, I liked that a lot.
See, I think I forget what it was called, but somebody's trying to launch a game. I'm not sure if it's for the new consoles or not. That's supposed to be inspired by DayZ.
I doubt it's.
See, DayZ's a
I
game.
don't think it's a crowdfunded console game. It's probably for PC.
Yeah, probably.
Well, there is a DayZ game coming out apparently.
There's been a DayZ game coming out for like
A
2
while,
years.
yeah.
They might
man. That's
really.
the reason I originally wanted to get a PC gaming was because I wanted to
Dude,
play
it was
DayZ.
great.
yo.
It was great. See, that was awesome because that was survival horror in a sense, but
There
that
were
was more
teams
action.
of people that would like walk up to other players and like basically like get on the ground because if you die you lose all your weapons and stuff.
Yeah.
And they would basically strip these guys of all their weapons, these two friends, and they would throw 2 axes on the floor and they'd be like last man standing gets to walk away. And they would like pit people together.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
That's like the best part of the game. Anytime there's a zombie interaction, it's like, oh, there's a zombie, and they kill it and they get it done. Like that's not the part of the game. It's like interaction with other players, and that to me is
it's like with The
Walking Dead.
Walking Dead,
exactly,
Battle
yeah.
Royale
It's the same
baloney.
thing.
I love
but
it.
really, to sum it up, survival
Battle
horror I
Royale.
think is more.
Oh, that movie. It's
Movies.
Netflix.
Which movie?
Yeah.
Battle Royale.
Oh, don't get me started.
We still gotta watch the
Incredible.
sequel.
Have I seen?
No,
the
we
sequel?
haven't. I've been meaning to show it to you forever. Remember, I said it starts off very good, and then it's just like, whoa, what movie are you making?
I think I've seen it actually.
No,
I think
the
I
one
might
where
have
they start off in the boats and they fly to the new city and they have to attack the other kids. That's
We
in
have to
Battle
see it.
Royale. You have not
We
seen
have to see it.
It's
But
a very good
anyway, to sum it up, survival horror. Survival horror.
It is
I
a
feel
good
like
movie.
Sorry.
it's just it's very specific, and I think that a lot of game companies just don't understand the formula like I do. I feel like I really get the
Apparently I
formula.
don't.
Well, the closest thing, and just to mention that Halo map that I made on Halo Reach, I made a Halo game type where it was survival horror-esque. There was weapon management. It was balance between
was the
the
mansion,
creatures.
Yeah, but I
It was the
mean,
mansion, but
then if you're saying that, I don't understand why you can't call BioShock on extreme difficulty for survival horror, because it's a horror game. You have very limited ammunition. There is a combat system for you to fight back at, but 90% of the game I found myself just eluding enemies and not fighting. And in that sense, I would consider that survival horror.
I don't know what else to say. I really
Check
don't. I
and
just
mate.
agree to disagree because I feel like that was more of an action game than anything.
Well, it depended on what difficulty.
You know,
I
but
don't know. It was scary.
It's going to be, you know, it's very hard to define survival horror. You know, I just think in my eyes that it's not
Happy
being
to see it
done
back.
properly. I don't think it's back. It's
People are
getting
making,
there.
People making an effort to bring it back.
Right, with
Silent
the-
Hill. I played PT. I forgot to mention that also.
Oh yes, well PT.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't even consider that a let's play. That's like a let's watch. Like because it's
Yeah.
The what's weird about the game is like you'll never beat it. This demo in your full run through, like you're gonna have to die multiple times to figure it out. But you start off and then like you walk up the alley and the first thing is like you hear a noise in the background. It says, "Look behind you," and like your first reaction is like, "I'm gonna look behind me." You look behind you, one of the most terrifying faces in video games, without exaggerating. But you die. So now when you play it again, you're like, "Look behind you," and you're not supposed to look behind you. But every ounce of my body was like, "I need to turn around. I have to."
If there's anybody that could bring back
So
the
good.
survival horror genre, I think with the feeling of survival horror, because
Mm-hmm.
Evil Within I haven't played. It's
Me neither.
Mikami-san, who is the
I forget things.
creator of the original Resident Evil. He made this game. He directed it, but from what I've been watching, because I haven't played it, it doesn't have the feel that I was kind of expecting. So from what I've seen from PT, while the demo of PT is by no means survival horror, it's more like an experience, like you said.
It is. It's like a let's
I
watch.
think they'll
I wouldn't
be-
call that survival
I think the gameplay is going to be more survival.
No,
horror.
absolutely.
I have a good feeling.
If that whole game was exactly like that demo, I don't think I'd enjoy it. At least for more than like a half hour, because it's
Yeah.
very.
if the
monotonous.
whole
like
game
playing a
had the
movie
feeling
at
of
that
that
point.
demo,
Yes, that's
Yeah.
great.
the emotional impact
Yes.
of that demo, the scare factor of that demo with survival horror gameplay, oh my god,
More
that will be
interaction,
the
though.
survival horror game
Yeah.
that we've needed for geez, like a decade.
That was one of the scariest things I played in quite some time. Was PT, and then it had Norman Reedus in it. You can't go wrong with Norman Reedus.
I thought that was an interesting choice, but I'm down with it.
Oh, you know what it is? It's because Guillermo del Toro is helping with the game, who is my favorite director, Pan's
awesome.
Labyrinth. And he's become, basically Norman Reedus has become his good luck charm, that director's good luck charm in movies. Because he had, well, that was Charlie Hunnam for Pacific Rim. But he's doing like a monster movie with Guillermo, and he's like doing another one with him as well. So he's becoming like, he's gonna be in a bunch of Guillermo del Toro movies. So I think that's why they're kind of teaming up again.
Tim Burton's Johnny Depp.
Exactly, that's what it is. It's like
Tim
that
Burton is-
that weird
oh,
Indian
Tim
guy
Burton's
for Neil
Johnny- I think you said-
Blomkamp who's
I
gonna be
think
in
you said-
Chappie and stuff.
I
Like,
think you said Tim Burton is Johnny Depp.
Dude, they might as well be.
might as well be.
Like he just morphs like into like this werewolf. It's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tim Burton is
Like
Johnny
Tim Burton
Depp.
just turns into Johnny Depp.
I just hope it doesn't happen
He
because
puts on his accessories like.
I just hope it doesn't happen because Tim Burton would make a movie out of it.
That's true. And he had to throw his wife in, who I don't enjoy at all.
Pump is terrible artwork.
We're just in this conversation.
We're not going to talk
Easy,
about
easy
him.
now, guys.
There was
Easy.
like good actors who are so good they're bad, and there's like actors that are so good that they are bad, and like that was like the dichotomy between Johnny Depp and like Val Kilmer. That's how I feel about Val Kilmer. I love Val Kilmer. I don't know why.
You totally took that from Community.
What?
That was a Community joke.
What?
The Johnny Depp thing. You totally said there's.
No, I swear to God, I know what you're talking about.
You just in Community.
I just watched Community today. It wasn't in that episode.
You're subconsciously hearing.
Am I
that.
doing it? What episode?
Abed says that something about Johnny Depp being so bad he's good. He says a line of that in
I think a
Community.
lot of people have said that.
Johnny Depp is just. I look at him and it's like you either nail a character or you're terrible.
He's just got poor career choices. Like, he just picks bad movies.
He's.
That's what it is. He's like the Colin Farrell.
Like on Tim Burton's, you know what? And until he gets off,
No,
of it,
I
his
don't know.
career is
No,
going
I
to
don't
stay
know what
there.
they on.
Payroll.
Payroll? Yeah.
His payroll.
What was that? I'm sorry, Bonnie. 30 seconds. Fantastic. We're going to commercial in 30 seconds. I'm trying to be subtle, but I can't hear. But it's I'm happy Survival is at least making an effort, or in some realm, some category, some fathom.
If
the
for
genre
whatever
is making a comeback.
Let me end this. If for
I'm tired
whatever,
of that
if for
business.
whatever reason I make it into the video game industry by whatever weird chance that I decide to do that in the future,
Life.
I
I'll
will
throw
make
you
a
some
survival
Boost
horror
Mobile
game.
money, son.
Kickstarter, baby. Yo, we're
Kickstarter's
kickstarting
on
it.
development.
Seriously, 'cause I feel like I could do it. I feel like you can make a survival horror game.
You'd probably make a better one than a lot of people. But we're going to go to our final commercial break of the show, and when we come back, we've got one cool little segment left, and then we're going to call it a night. So we'll be back in 2 seconds.
InRavio.com. The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, InRavio can get your message out there, and we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is InRavio.com.
Hey everybody, we're back for our final commercial break before the end of the show. I wanted to save it for the end because, not a big deal, but we said we were going to talk about it. We never really got to give it its time. I want to talk the Master Chief Collection because that came out.
Could always talk about the Master Chief Collection.
And we didn't want to do our themed episode because it came too soon. Now, I know you don't really know anything about Halo, so you can sit over there for the rest of the show. Just letting you have it now. Yep. Screw you guys.
That's good.
Don't know.
Bye, Nolan.
Yep. So that's going to be Nolan's corner for a bit, I think. Let's check with the Nolan cam. How we doing? He's doing good. Okay, we're doing good over there. Fantastic. All right. So we don't need to cut back to you anymore. So yeah, I want to talk Master Chief Collection. Now, the main reason I wanted to move Nolan was so that he wasn't close when I tell you there's a lot of glitches and a lot of problems with it, and people aren't happy.
Do tell.
And I wanted Nolan's smirk face to be as far away as possible.
Oh yes?
That's exactly why I moved you.
Who are you talking to?
What?
Who are you talking to?
Oh yeah, that's right, Frankie. Who am I talking to? Certainly no one of matter. That's for certain. But yeah, there's a lot of issues coming out. Tons of glitches that people are very surprised. 343 didn't. Or I'm sorry, Bungie did. Or it is 343, right? Yeah, 343 is the studio.
Well, I would call them Bungie.
I mean, they're a small group from Bungie, but technically it is 343.
Yeah.
But apparently there is just a treasure trove of problems. There's actually a very popular YouTube video making the rounds right now. And it's a streamer, and he's actually laughing so hard, and he can't control himself because he got matched up. And anyone that knows nothing about Halo is not going to understand this next sentence. But he got matched up on Coag, which is Blood Gulch, that huge map for a 5v5 match. And there's 10 people on the server, and it automatically somehow fudged up the math and made a
0 for 2.
What is it? And he made it said it's like 6v4, like automatically. And it gave them like the most bizarre weapon spawn. They had assault rifles, and this is on Coagulation, where the map is gigantic, and it had 100 kill was the limit for the game.
Sounds like Halo 2.
So it has like all the algorithms are messed up and stuff, like unbelievable. And then the cutscenes apparently look awful, like in between the shots. I was super excited because I found out that I know in Halo Anniversary you could push the select button to go back to the old engine and see the old graphics. You can do that now in the cutscenes, apparently.
You can, but
which is super cool.
You said there's something wrong with the cutscenes?
Apparently, there's a lot of when those updates, like the re-renders of those cutscenes and the new engines and stuff. There's just a lot of glitches that are it's not clean and it's messy. And it happens a bunch in
It looks pretty good to me from what I saw.
That's what I thought, but apparently people are saying it's a very rough launch.
Well, that's why I don't listen to people. But I'll tell you this.
Well, I mean, it's a collective of
the launch.
What?
That's why I don't listen to people.
Shut up!
You're in the corner. Look how lonely he looks. I'm like, are we just going to keep you there from now on or something?
Now, I have been hearing about the troubles they've been having with launch, but look, let's give them a little bit of a break here.
Let's take a step back.
I understand that there's some launch issues with the online and whatnot, but they're probably trying very hard to get them back. You know, it's not easy, I think, probably, because every launch goes wrong. No matter what game
They don't have to.
Do you
That's
notice
my
it?
point.
They don't. I mean,
Yeah.
look, it's
Why are they all
look,
going
on one hand, it boggles my mind that we're still having launch issues with so
They
many
do this
games
for a
nowadays.
living, like-
And on the other hand, we might not really know truly what goes behind the scenes. That maybe it's stuff that they really can't foresee until it actually launches. You know
You're
what I
going
mean?
to tell me that their QA department didn't, through all their beta runs and alpha runs, didn't notice any of those glitches in the cutscene? Like, apparently, from what I've seen, all it takes is a playthrough to notice the problem.
Well, let's get. I
Rushing the
don't
market.
care.
What
about,
it sounds like with all these launch problems and stuff is that all these companies are like skimping their budgets on their QA department
Well,
for
here's
their
the thing.
testing, because a
Just
lot of
rush-
this stuff is coming out.
They're just rushing the market.
They're coming debunked.
no
Yeah,
excuse.
everyone's on that hype now that they have to put it out super early for everyone to get. And
You get permission to speak.
you get
Okay.
permission. You can talk. Okay,
Thank
just
you,
for now.
Master.
Just for
No,
now.
no.
Yeah.
I'm saying you get permission. You're not getting it.
What?
What?
What? Even she didn't get that. What?
What is going on here?
I think Frankie just had
He
a
doesn't
seizure.
speak. No, he
Yes.
doesn't speak until you get permission. You get permission to speak.
So why didn't you just say you can speak when spoken to?
Anyway,
I guess anyway.
because there's some kind of aneurysm going on here, some collective aneurysm.
No.
Word vomit.
I don't really care what's going on with the game right now. I'm happy the game is out. People just need to be a little patient. That's it. They need to be patient with the Master Chief Collection's launch. It just came out, and they're gonna fix it.
Stop babying them.
That's it.
Fire.
It's just funny because no one talks so much smack, and the Call of Duty release is actually pretty good.
I mean, I don't like Call of Duty.
I know, but it's like, oh, the Yankees are on. I'm going to root for the
Let's-
other
look,
team
look,
because
look,
you're either a Yankee fan or you're not a Yankee fan.
Let's
That's
look.
baseball.
It's
Or
not
you're
even
a
worth
Mets
That's
talking
what I
about.
feel like
It's
now.
not even worth talking
You're a
about.
Call of Duty fan or you're not a Call of
Look,
Duty
let's just screw the whole Call of Duty versus Halo thing, because it's the same thing with Republicans and Democrats. Doesn't matter, right? They're both who cares? So it's the Master Chief Collection having problems. I honestly am just happy that it's here. We almost didn't get a Halo 2 anniversary, I'm sure.
I know, we were so
that's true.
close.
So
Nolan was almost devastated by that, by the way.
oh, I just hit my
That's all he
mic.
talks
Sorry,
about
Bonnie.
now.
Yeah, but it's gonna be fixed. It's gonna be fixed.
I like this corner.
I know,
feel like
I
I'm
do
just
too.
like yelling at you guys. Like, Halo's bad. and
Like
you
he's the
should feel
director
bad
on
for
set.
liking it.
Yeah, right. But closing remarks, let's wrap it
Love
up.
to
So
blow that
so you say give them time. I say it's a little bit. I'm just saying, you do this for a living. Like, how could it be this rough of a launch? Like the algorithms were all messed up. Like, How do you?
I don't know.
happen?
Or it happens with every.
I wouldn't even care about the glitches, but if I logged in to like play a map and they gave me the biggest map to play and there was only 10 people and then they mismatched the teams and then they gave me a weapon loadout of all close range weapons for a map that's like basically like you're fighting hundreds of yards from each other. I don't know.
It happens with every major launch. I think people need to just kind of cool their jets about it.
Come sit. You can come back.
And
I don't want to come back.
Sorry.
They just need to cool their jets about it and just let 343 do what they got to do. I see what you're saying, but also people are just making a mountain out of a molehill. You know.
That's that's the gaming community.
So yeah, but let's
no one's
say-
ever gonna be happy.
Truth.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's right. And,
Oh, I'm not saying it's right. I'm just
yeah.
saying you're never gonna satisfy anyone.
Well, that's any kind of community.
yeah,
But
but especially the gaming community.
yeah, so
We're a
just
bunch
give it
of
time. I'm
narcissistic
happy the
people.
Master Chief Collection's out. I think it was a great move by Microsoft and 343 to do that because Halo we spoke about this in a previous episode. It's on the decline, and they really brought Halo, I think, back into the mainstream minds, you know, of what
Question.
Halo is. And actually, hold on,
Okay.
wait. The Halo 5 Guardians beta. Did you see the?
No, I didn't.
Oh my God, Halo 5 is looking pretty damn good.
Does it? I mean, we'll see. Everything looks great till it comes out. Apparently, Nolan. Closing remarks from you in the corner.
Question.
Question.
Would you
This show.
have preferred for Halo? No, this is. Would you have preferred if Halo came out in like, I mean, this is a stretch, like 4 or 5 months, but it was perfect, like
Yes.
it ran right.
Yes.
Or have it out before the holiday season, right now, as it is.
If you're talking
because
money?
you know. Well, no, I'm just saying because you know that's exactly why they rushed it.
Oh yeah. As a consumer, I would wait months. I would rather wait. I'd wait for a long
So then
time
why
for
didn't they?
the correct product.
I don't
It's the
think
Halo
it's-
name.
we
They
gotta
have
wrap it
so
up.
much clout.
I don't
and then
think
they
it's
just
just-
released a
I guess.
shitty game.
I don't think it's as much of a software issue as it is just the whole network isn't communicating with it properly. So they're just patching.
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
I don't
just
think
saying,
it's a big deal,
testing.
you know?
But we'll get into it more next week. Thanks for everyone for stopping by. Nolan, Frankie, always a pleasure. I keep forgetting. We might actually keep you there. I'm really enjoying this vibe. Thank you so much for stopping by. We'll be back next week, as always, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at radio.com/live-stream. Check us out. This will be on YouTube tomorrow over at youtube.com/user/save and continue show.
Too many slashes.
Too many slashes. Thank you for stopping by. It's been great. It's been fun. Pew, pew, pew. Pew, pew, pew.